Hey there, welcome. Come on in, grab a seat, crack a cinnamon coke, cause it's story time. Before we get started, I'm just gonna ask you to think about subscribing. You don't have to subscribe, just think about it. Alright, let's get to the story. Here's how it all started. I was sitting in disease class in college, I put my hand up to my face, and I felt a bump. Feel me on this. I found a lump in my face sitting in disease class. We are actively talking about these things that can kill you and debilitate you, and I find a lump in my face. So of course I stopped paying attention. I started writing my will. I was calling everybody. I'm like, no, I'm not ready. Just kidding. I actually thought it was a swollen lymph node, so I ignored it for several months, which was the wrong thing to do. Then one day, I was at my internship, and I just happened to tell somebody about it, and I was like, yeah, I got this lymph node in my cheek. And she looks at me super serious, straight in the eyes, and goes, you don't have lymph nodes there. And that was like one of those heart-dropping moments where you like can't breathe. It was like your girlfriend says, hey, we gotta talk feeling. You know that feeling. And I'm just like, oh no. So at this point, I'm really like, I might die. So it seemed like a good time to finally go to the doctor, and that's what I did. So I go to the doctor, and I remember him like being all slouched over. He was like, yeah, we could take that out real easy, but I'm not going to. I'm sorry, what? We could take it out real easy, but you're not going to? Yeah, apparently there's a lot of nerves in the face that if you were to cut, I'd never smile again, never feel things in my face again, things that you kind of like to do. So he referred me to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, but at the time I kind of was a little mad at my ENT, so I just dropped the ball totally. Didn't go to him, never did anything with it. Again, bad call. But it was okay for a few months, until it wasn't. One day, this small bump in my face became infected. It made the whole part of my face swell up. It was extremely painful, super tender. I remember even just taking a shirt off when the fabric would rub up against it, it was unbearable. So finally I dragged myself to the ENT and I was like, there's really nothing to worry about. It's not like they're gonna do anything today. Oh yeah. So they come in with this bucket and this huge needle, and I'm probably like shaking at this point, and the doctor's like, don't move. And they take this big old needle, stick it straight in my face, pull out a bunch of junk, and they're like, we only have to do that 2 more times. Terribly painful. He slaps a band-aid on it, sends me back to work. A few days later, the results came back, and it was a tumor. It was a neoplastic adenoma, which is a non-cancerous tumor, but it has a chance to turn cancerous. Not a good thing. They sent me for a CT scan, got the imaging. You can actually see where the tumor is pretty clearly, which is handy. The doctor was like, yeah, I think we should take that out, and I was like, yeah, that seems like a good idea. And I honestly thought this will be no problem. I'll go, I'll get it out on a Thursday, I'll take off Friday, I'll rest for the weekend, and I'll be ready to go back to work Monday. Not how it works. I'm wrong again. Turns out this story is really just mostly me being wrong. The doctor says, you're gonna need to take off 2 weeks. And I'm like, 2 weeks? He's like, yep, 2 weeks. I'm like, that's ridiculous. And he's like, sorry, that's what you gotta do. 2 weeks off work. I didn't have that much vacation time. Just had to burn all of my vacation time. But here's the thing. I thought they were going in, gonna make like a small incision here and take it out. No, turns out they have to cut you from like the ear, the whole way down past the jaw, and sorry, but rip your face open and follow into the tumor and pull it out, put your face back on, and stitch it up. I literally had my face ripped off and put back on. So finally that brings us to May 19th, 2016, the day of my surgery, which was some years ago and I was something years old. I remember taking a picture and thinking, this could be the very last picture of me smiling. You know, if they like cut the nerve wrong. I get to the hospital and I feel calm and relaxed. I'm ready to do this, and all of a sudden my leg just starts jumping. It's going nuts. It's like, but on the ground, not on the seat. They give me a cool hat, not as cool as this hat. They send me back. I answer my name and my birthday about 1 million times, and a nurse says, wow, this is a really big surgery for a young guy. Yeah, hey nurse, if you're watching this, those aren't words of comfort. They hooked me up to these ankle pump things so that I didn't get blood clots. And a nurse comes in and says, hey, which side of your face is the tumor on? It's not in our documentation. And I'm like, are you serious? I'm pretty sure it's the right side, but I don't want this being the determining factor of which side you're gonna cut me open on. And just at that moment, the doctor came in, he was like, yeah, it's this side. He takes like a surgical marker and like signs my face right over the spot of the tumor. The surgery was about 2 hours long. Don't remember much of that. None of it, actually. But when I woke up, they gave me ginger ale and pretzels, and I was like, yeah. I took a bite of the pretzel, and I'm like, I can't eat this. I can barely open my mouth. But thanks for the ginger ale. That was good. They put me in a wheelchair, my mom wheels me right out of there, I get in the car, we drive home, and it's like, you don't notice how bumpy roads are until you got stitches on your throat. I get home, and I was like really into this one zombie show at the time, Quarantine, and I put it on the TV, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be great, I just get to sit here and watch the zombie show. I could not watch that show anymore, because like I was so close to a zombie, I had like stitches and blood everywhere. I literally had a tube of blood coming out of my throat and like into this little pump on my chest. You can see that in this picture right here. And also shout out to Grace for coming on my first day. I think that she brought me flowers, but it's all a little foggy, so I don't know. The next day, I went back to the doctor to get this tube removed, and he's like, oh, it's gonna come out real easy. He grabs it, he's like, and like there's like this much tube in my face. Like I thought it was gonna be that. No, he pulled out like half a foot of tubing from my insides, and I go, that was not smooth. And he's like, yeah, that wasn't smooth. My next week went kind of like this: eat, sleep, Mario Kart, talk to friends. I couldn't look to the left, so all my friend talking was like, hey, yeah, come on in. 1 week later, I had to go get my stitches out. So this lady comes in with the scissors, like to get the stitches out, and like, you know, right by the jugular vein, right with the scissors near the most sensitive part of the human body. And I don't know if she needed a smoke break, or if she just came off a smoke break, or what her problem was, but it was like, I think I could probably take them out. I think I could do that. Or yeah, I've seen my mom. No, so shaky hands over here, snipping, 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 and taking it out. Then get this, the doctor comes in, and remember how he signed my face with the surgical Sharpie? Well, it was still there a week later, and he was like, hey, my initials are still there. Takes out an alcohol pad and just starts wiping it on my face right over the surgical site, and I'm like, I've probably never been closer to punching a doctor. Like, that hurt. Don't do that. I don't care if that was on there forever. Took another week after that for me to heal, to do like normal light activities, and it took about 2 weeks after that for me to actually be able to get back to 100%. I think it healed up really well. You can hardly even see it. They did an awesome job with the surgery, and now I just have a gnarly scar. I'm very thankful to live in a place, in a country with good doctors, with clean hospitals. It was brutal, it was bad, but it could have been a lot worse. And if you made it this far, first of all, you rock. You're the man or the woman. Second of all, leave a comment below about either a weird injury you've had, or a surgery, or just whatever you want to tell me. Leave a comment below. I love you all, and thanks everybody for watching.